Hey guys, it's Magic Pistol Man here, and today we're gonna go through my pistol tier list. And when I say tier list, just to clarify, I mean I'm gonna rate them from one to whatever number there are. I I know what number there are, but I'm not gonna say. Um, and I'm gonna going to talk about each individual pistol. I'm gonna talk about what gave them that spot, and later throughout my channel. Um, I'm gonna upload a video every day, but I'll eventually get to this. I'm gonna upload a video starting from number one, the first gun on this list, to the last gun on this list, and I'm going to talk about what perks you should put on them, what heroes you should use, what guns you should use with the pistol, and stuff like that. Um, so this isn't like like official Fortnite like pistol tier list. This is my opinion, even though I've been playing since December and I've used pistols my entire gameplay. Um, so I know a ton about pistols. I've used all of these pistols before. I'm covering every single pistol in the game. So we're going to get on with it. Starting with number 23, we have the Vindertech Burster. Now, this Vindertech Burster was a Vindertech gun from the Vindertech event. It's a pretty cool gun. It's basically a burst pistol, the only burst pistol in the game. It shoots 3 rounds of like small little balls of orb every time it shoots. And the balls of orb really don't do that much damage. Plus, it's a burst, so it's really just not that good of a gun. First of all, like in my opinion, this is non-opinionated tier list, but in my opinion, I don't like burst. I hate it so much, and actually a lot of people agree with me. But not only is this like burst, but it also doesn't do as much damage as the other pistols on this list. Now, don't get me wrong. I think every pistol on this list is a good pistol, and honestly, you could use all of them. Let's say you had no pistol but the Vindertech Burster. Use it. It's still a good gun. I I do think pistols are some of the best guns in the game. Um, yeah. All right, next one we have the Vindertech Blaster. This one's also a Vindertech pistol from the Vindertech event. Um, so this Vindertech Blaster is a really cool gun, just like the Burster. It's an original. It's a scoped pistol. It's the only one in the game. It's really cool because I don't know. It's just something different. Like oh, it's a scoped pistol. Like, it's not very whatchamacallit. It's not very not original like a lot of these pistols on the list. It's definitely more one of the most original guns, or one of the most original pistols. But the Vindertech Blaster does not get that much range. It only gets 3.5k range, which is really bad. The Vindertech Blaster also gets the most reload in the game with 3.3 reload, which is insanely long. If you don't know how long that is, that's 3.3 seconds to just reload like 6 bullets. It's not good. It's basically like it's a judge that does less damage. It's scoped, and it has like a longer reload. It doesn't make any sense. Why? I don't understand, but it's a hand cannon revolver that with a pistol or with a scope, not with a pistol, with a scope, and it's just really not. It doesn't do much damage as it should. So that's why it's the second to last on this list. Next one is the Haywire Storm. Now, don't get me wrong, the Haywire Storm is a great weapon, and a lot of people that don't really use pistols all that much agree that the Haywire Storm is a great weapon. The bad part about the Haywire Storm is that it's okay. It's the fastest firing semi-automatic pistol in the game. That's pretty cool. Like original, like number one. But really, it's not that good of a pistol because it has an 8 fire rate. Now, an 8 fire rate means lots of DPS, like almost automatically. But you can't just look at DPS on this gun because 8 fire rate means you're shooting 8 times a second. If you can't click 8 times a second, then you really can't use the gun. And in the game, Fortnite doesn't register that many clicks a second, so it actually won't even shoot 8 times a second. So it's really not all that good. Now it does plenty of damage to a ton of fire. If Fortnite was able to register every click and you're able to click super fast, hurt your finger, and you had really good aim, it would be a super good gun and probably really high on this list. But obviously not everyone is like that. There aren't many people that can shoot, that can click 8 times a second. I cannot click 8 times a second. No, I can't click 8 times a second. Yeah, the only way I could use this gun is if Fortnite worked and I had like an auto clicker. Those were like the only two ways. And then I would need to aim as well, which would suck. And reload, and yeah, it's just not that good. It has a really fast reload. You know, it's a good gun to like one-shot normal husks in lower level missions for you. That's really the only thing that I would use it for. Next gun on this list, number 20, is the Space Invader. Yes, the Space Invader. Now, the Space Invader is a very cool gun. It's definitely probably one of my favorite pistols because even though it's the 4th worst on my tier list, it's actually a pretty good pistol, but it's the hardest pistol to master in the entire game. And like I said, this is going to be non-opinionated. Now, if it was my opinion, I would list it higher, but I'm trying to be as much non-opinion as possible on this list. But the Space Invader, the cool part about it is that it bounces off walls. That's like the only 2 of these pistols in the list bounce off walls. Space Invader is one of them. The Space Invader, it has a ton of range. I think it's like 10k range. Has the most range out of any pistol in the game. But there's a couple things that make it suck. One is that the bullets take forever to even get to the enemy. So if you want to use it kind of like as a sniper for a pistol, which you could, you'd have to get really good at calculating like how fast it shoots and how like fast the zombie's walking. So you would have to use this gun a lot in order for it to actually be usable, like even usable, period. It's still a fun gun to use. What I did when I first got it is I would just like shoot right in front of the husk, and when you hit a ground before you hit a husk, it actually gets over piercing. So if you shoot the ground under the husk, you can actually shoot the husk, and you can shoot a husk behind him. So that's the really cool part about the Space Invader, is it has over piercing if you bounce it off a wall first. So I mean, it probably could be the best pistol in the game if you were super good at aiming and you used this pistol a lot. But honestly, I don't even think anyone has even done that. Maybe I will eventually. I can make some cool gameplay out of it if I gotta level one up first, but maybe I'll level one up. It's a very interesting gun. You have to really get used to it. Like when I say really get used to it, I mean like you're using it like more than I've used like the top 2 guns on this list. Yeah, it's really hard for it to be good, but it can be very good if you are good at those things, like I said. The next gun on the list is, okay, we'll just highlight it, the Krypton pistol. Now the Krypton pistol, fun fact, has the same exact stats as the Bolt. Yes, same exact stats as Bolt. But the one thing about the Krypton pistol is that it doesn't get over piercing like the Bolt. The one thing that makes the Bolt good is that it has over piercing. Again, it's one of those guns you have to like kind of master. But anyway, we're not on the Bolt yet. Krypton pistol. Really the Krypton pistol / Bolt isn't really a good gun because like every other pistol outdoes it. It shoots pretty fast, but it has like a pretty big kick, so you gotta like really know how to aim. It's a good gun. It's kind of similar to the Haywire, but does a little bit more damage, and it has a little bit less fire rate. But it doesn't like they have like the same fire rate because, like I said, the Haywire doesn't register. So the Krypton pistol is better than the Haywire. It's just a better version of it, and it also uses energy ammo, which I don't dig because that takes bacon. I mean, I have a lot of bacon, but I don't like to waste my bacon on a bad pistol. Even though all pistols are good. It's just bad compared to the other pistols on this list. Anyways, next pistol on the list is... Alright, guess we're going to have to highlight it. Next pistol on the list is... Ooh, the Piston Spitter. Now, the Piston Spitter is an interesting gun. I like it. I think it's a very good gun, but it's not opinionated, so I have to put it as number 18 on the list. It uses heavy ammo, right? The really cool thing about it is that it's the fastest pistol that uses heavy ammo. It has one of the highest impact per second in the game. If you're into that, that's pretty cool. So like, really, what IPS even does is like, you can apply impact on a smasher and you can stagger him a bunch. One, or two, you can impact a smasher so he gets vulnerable to freeze traps and launchers. Those are the two things you can really do with IPS. Not a ton you can do with impact per second. But if you're a very strategical player, this could be a very good gun. I will say this. I'm going to go into perks a little bit. The only way to make this gun good is to put fire rate on it. You want to have as much impact per second, so putting fire rate on it is very useful. You want to shadow shard it for the more impact, and that's basically it on the Piston Spitter. It does less damage than every heavy bullet pistol, so it really just doesn't play very well since heavy ammo takes forever to craft. It takes 10 bullets per like 5 seconds. It's insane. It just shreds through ammo. Yeah, I mean, if you have no guns with heavy ammo, it could be a good gun, but I'd rather use some of the better pistols on this list more up on the top. Now, the next pistol you probably already saw is the Tiny Instrument of Death. Now, originally, the Tiny Instrument of Death was going to be like the last one on this list, but very recently, right before 5.0, they updated and they buffed 3 pistols. And the 3 pistols are the Tiny Instrument of Death, the Zap Zap, and the Freedom's Herald. Now, they used to be some of the worst guns in the game, but now they are very good. The reason why Tiny Instrument of Death is kind of down here is that it does a ton of damage, alright? Don't get me wrong. I have a 130 Tiny Instrument of Death. It's very fun to use, okay? But it doesn't do enough. So, like, the one thing about it is that it's the rocket that you shoot from the Tiny Instrument of Death. It doesn't travel fast enough. Now, if it traveled faster, it could be a very viable gun to use. But it just takes forever to get to the target. So, like, in reality, there is no fire rate. And, like, with guns that use all the mag in one shot, the fire rate is the reload. But it's not even the reload because the rocket takes forever to hit the enemy. Now, if there was, like, an attack speed perk on it, that would be really cool. But there isn't, and the Tiny Instrument of Death it's kind of like, what's it called? A double-edged sword, where when you shoot the rocket, right, you can aim it with your screen. If you move your screen side to side with your mouse or controller, you can make it move however you want, which is really useful, especially when like you accidentally click and like, oh, I didn't want to shoot there or whatever, or like let's say the enemy that you were aiming at died because someone killed it, which happens to me a ton. Then you can aim it at another zombie, or if there's like you shoot a rocket and there's an enemy that hits you from behind, and you just like do a 180 and you kill the enemy from behind. But while you're aiming the rocket from the Tiny Instrument of Death, you can't really dodge because then it would ruin the rocket's accuracy. It's a double-edged sword because it's super hard to like. Let's say a blaster's shooting at you. Well, you got to get out of the way. Well, that means you got to move your screen, which means the rocket then misses its target. So if the rocket shot a little faster, the Tiny Instrument of Death would definitely be higher up. It does a ton of DPS, a ton of damage, but it's just the rocket doesn't shoot fast enough. All right. Well, the next gun on this list is the Zap Zap. Now, like I said, the Zap Zap was buffed, but the thing about the Zap Zap is that it doesn't do. The one thing that sucks about the Zap Zap is its fire rate. Now, the kind of a cool thing about the Zap Zap is that there's 3 launcher pistols. They were the only ones that got buffed: Freedom's Terror, Zap Zap, and Tiger of Death. The Zap Zap is the only launcher pistol that you can shoot multiple bullets before having to reload. The Tiger of Death gets an 8 mag, but it uses 8 ammo cost. The Zap Zap has an 18 mag, but it has 6 ammo cost. So you can shoot 3 shots before you have to reload. Now the Zap Zap, when you shoot the Zap Zap, it just takes forever for the next charge to even be able to shoot again, and it's really just not worth using the Zap Zap. Now it is a good gun. Like I said, all these pistols on this list are good guns. The Zap Zap is not a bad gun. Now there's the Tiny Ship of Death, there's Pistol, Crippling Pistol. They're all great guns. I'm just saying that the Zap Zap, you might as well use the Freedom's Herald. Like, I say Freedom's Herald because it's not, I haven't said it yet, so it's obviously higher on this list. But the Zap Zap doesn't have it has like the second smallest AoE. The Tiny Ship of Death, I think, has the smallest AoE. The Zap Zap is the second smallest, and the Freedom's Herald is the biggest. But the Zap Zap, it's like, the cool part about it is that it does ton of damage now. So if you shoot it once, you can kill like 2 enemies with it, which is great and all. But like the #1 gun on this list can easily do that, and 5, 6, like all these different guns could do that with like headshot explosions and stuff like that. But a lot of people saw this coming because Zap Zap really isn't a good gun to begin with. But anyways, next gun on this list is the Jackal. Now the Jackal, I originally thought, like back when I started this list, I almost tried every pistol. I didn't try a couple of them out. Jackal was one of them. I thought the Jackal was horrible, right? Because I had one at one point in time. But actually, the Jackal that I obtained was from the Christmas event when they just rained a bunch of random items down on you. So the Jackal I got from that, and I would use it once in a while, just kind of test it out, and it sucked. It was horrible. So at one point, I got my hands on a level 130 Jackal, level 130. And at first, I looked at the DPS, and I was like, what? It had like 80k DPS, and I was flabbergasted about how much DPS it had, and I was like, that's interesting. So then I tried it out, and it was so good. Like, the really cool part about the Jackal is it has like a 5 or 6 fire rate. So like you can actually click 5, 6 times a second. Like you can actually click that fast. So it's better. It's way better than the Haywire because it does like 20-50% more damage. It's really good. And the mag is pretty good. The reload is actually the fastest in the game. Fun fact. Jackal and Viper have both the fastest reloads in the game. Reload's super fast on the Jackal. Honestly, it's a good pistol. If you like semi-automatic pistols, Jackal is the way to go because that's the highest one on this list. Now, I mean, you could count a couple of the other ones, like the hand cannons, semi-automatic, but I'm not counting the hand cannon semi-automatic. It's like a medium fast firing semi-automatic pistol. The next gun on this list is the Bolt. Now here's the Bolt. The Krypton pistol is a couple things down. The reason why the Bolt got up a couple of ratings is because it has overpiercing. Now with overpiercing, personally, when I use overpiercing, I cannot get a single enemy to even get hit by the overpiercing. I suck with overpiercing. Now, obviously, like I said, this isn't an unopinionated tier list, so I can't base it off of that. Otherwise, I would list it super down, like by the Krypton pistol. But just the thought that it has overpiercing makes it super good. Although it's kind of like only good on like SSDs or 4-mans or encampment missions that have a ton of enemies. If it's kind of a lower level mission where not many enemies spawn, it's not going to be a useful gun. It's like only useful in Twine or Canny, kind of. So it's definitely a gun that I would say for the new players, I wouldn't level up, but I would keep because it's going to be really good. Or you could level it up for SSDs. But if you need your schematic XP, I would not level up the Bolt. But it's definitely a good gun with the overpiercing. Overpiercing is amazing. Overpiercing is awesome. Like the Obliterator, the Dragon Rifle, or Dragon's Roar, they all get overpiercing. It's super good. Oh, and if you guys don't know what overpiercing is, it's basically where you shoot an enemy and the bullet goes through the enemy. It's kind of self-explanatory, but just in case you guys didn't know. The next thing on this list is the Monsoon. Now the Monsoon, fun fact, is the fastest firing gun in the game. It has the most fire rate out of any gun in the game. It gets an 18 fire rate, which is super fast, like a Siege Breaker, a Terminator. They get 12 fire rate, so it's like 50% more. The Monsoon shoots super fast. No, the thing that sucks about the Monsoon, and honestly, it would be higher up, probably like in a couple of the like 4, 5, 6 slots, if it didn't have this. So like when you click the Monsoon, like you're gonna shoot, it has like a charge up time. It's like 3 seconds or so of charge up, and it honestly makes the gun bad. And I am going to do a video on the Monsoon. Like I said, I'm going to do videos on all these pistols. There is a build that makes the Monsoon very good. But there's only like really one build you can do, like perk wise, to make it, or you can still make it good, but like to make it like very, very viable, like better than ARs. We'll put it like that. Better than ARs. There is a build you can do, and it'll probably try better than almost every AR. But I put it down at 13 because it only has one perk set that makes it good. That's not very good. That means I have to spend a ton of reperk on it. So that's why it's down here at 13. I love the Monsoon because it shoots super fast, but there is a fire rate cap, I think, on Fortnite. I actually don't know. This is unconfirmed. But I don't think the Monsoon shoots as fast as it should. But I am going to do a video kind of testing that out. I'm going to do some really cool videos. Stay tuned. Of kind of like testing the limits of Fortnite. Like for example, I have a couple of them right now. I have a Walloper with 3 times heavy attack efficiency. I'll probably show that to you. I'll probably do a bunch of these in one video. But I want to test like the fastest firing gun. So I'll get like a UAH, and I'll get the Monsoon with a fire rate perk, and I'll see how fast I can shoot. It's gonna be kind of fun. I'll do like a sword with attack speed, a stab sword with attack speed. Run like a explosive assassin can or something like that. Yes. So I'm gonna do a lot of those cool looking videos that I want to do, but also would be really cool to share with everyone on YouTube. So, anyways, next pistol is the Freedom's Herald. Now here's the Freedom's Herald, the last launcher pistol. They're all kind of like in the second half of all the pistols. The Freedom's Herald is a great pistol. I use it normally. I have a 106 one, Shadow Shard. It is number 12 on the list, right? But I do have 106 Shadow Shard, and it's a very good gun. It's kind of those guns you have to kind of get used to. Oh, and this is the second gun. This is the second pistol that shoots off walls. It can shoot off walls, which makes it really cool. You can do cool trick shots with it, kind of like the Space Invader. I might do a video on that, but the Freedom's Herald, it's a funny gun. Like it shoots fireworks. It's real funny, but it does a crap ton of damage. It gets one of the highest impacts in the game. Has one of the highest IPSs in the game, impact per second. And like you shoot one at a blaster, it staggers him instantly. Like no matter what, no matter where you shoot him, it'll stagger him. And that's super good. So you can just spam a Freedom's Herald on a blaster. Now the Freedom's Herald, it has one ammo, one mag, and the fire doesn't matter. Now the DPS is like the highest in the game. Like Freedom's Herald gets the highest DPS, but it's not real because it doesn't have a fire rate, because you shoot one bullet and you have to reload. So fire doesn't matter in the Freedom's Herald. Now there is something broken about the Freedom's Herald. I will warn you guys about this. You can have a perk. Ooh, actually I haven't tested this. You can have a magazine-sized perk of the Freedom's Herald. I wonder if you can get 2 bullets in the clip. I will have to test that eventually. But, what's it called? Fire rate. Do not put a fire rate perk on your Freedom's Herald unless you're trying to get a gun super high DPS that you're not going to use. Like my Tyrantry of Death is what I did. That's what I did with it. But if you're trying to get like the highest DPS on a gun possible, which I'm going to do, stay tuned. The Freedom's Herald, you want to put fire rate on it. But if you're going to use the Freedom's Herald, do not put fire rate on it because it will not affect it at all. But yes, I will do a video on the Freedom's Herald talking about perks. There's 2 things you can do with it. It's super cool the way you can do with it. I'm definitely going to make another Freedom's Herald with the other perks on to kind of show it out with you guys. So the next pistol on the list, number 11, is the Thrasher. Another oh, it's not the Thrasher. It's the Riptide, Founder's Quickshot, and the Thrasher. Yeah, they're all 11. Woo! So, a lot of people probably don't know this. The Thrasher, Founder's Quickshot, and Riptide all have the same exact stats. Yes, I'm not exaggerating. Has the same exact stats, same impact, same damage, same like durability per shot. Same thing. There's a couple differences in between them. Well, for one, the Thrasher everyone can get. Founder's Quickshot you had to get limited and choose Outlander or buy unlimited or ultimate. Then Riptide you had to have to play the Scavenger event. Now the Riptide, the cool things about the Scavenger guns and weapons is that they take 8 of the crystal or ore to craft. So if it's Shadow Shard, it only takes 8 Shadow Shard to craft it, which is really cool. And the same thing was with the neon weapon, or actually I don't even know about the neon weapons. I know it happens for the vacuum tube weapons as well. It's 8 crystal and then like batteries. So it has a smaller crafting. That's why I kind of put it higher up on the list. But it takes planks instead, which is better, honestly, in my opinion. Planks, everyone has a ton of planks. Founder's Quickshot is a really cool thing. I'm actually going to do this in a video. I might put it in the combination video. But the Founder's Quickshot can get 3 crit damage perks on it. I said that correctly, yes. 3 crit damage perks. Now, my next perk I'm going to spend on that because I'm very excited to test out the Founder's Quickshot with 3 crit damage perks on a Ranger Deadeye. Oh my gosh, that's going to do so much damage. But stat-wise, this is all, pistol tier list, the stat, situational-wise. This isn't perk-wise, okay? If it was perk-wise, then I'd probably change a couple on here. But Founder's Quickshot, or it's kind of perk-wise, isn't it? Anyways, you don't always get 3 times crit damage with Founder's Quickshot, that's what I'm saying. Is that if you do, then it's probably... okay, I will say this. If you put 3 crit damages on the Founder's Quickshot, number 3 pistol on the list. Easily. Okay, and I'm going to try it out. I want to test it with a couple of the higher up pistols to see if it kind of... what's it called? What's the word? Compete. If it can compete with the pistols on the higher list. Okay. They're okay. About the guns, yeah, they're great guns. They're machine pistols. In my opinion, almost every machine pistol is an amazing gun. If you have a machine pistol, quick fact, it gets more DPS than every AR. Like, yeah, machine pistols get the most DPS in the game, and it's actually real. It's real DPS. Yeah. So they do shred through ammo. One. They shred through ammo, and their range is smaller. Those are the 2 things about the pistols that are different from ARs. Now, if you have phase shift, range doesn't matter. And if you have lots of mats, then ammo doesn't matter. So, I mean, like, pistols are better than ARs. Like I said, I mean, they are. I mean, like, statistically, they are. And, like, resource-wise, they are. Like, if they do more damage, use less durability. Am I right? Anyways, okay. Yeah, machine pistols are great. Yeah. The reason why these machine pistols are kind of on the lower side is that it doesn't get as much fire rate as the higher pistols, and that really affects it. But it's not a huge deal. All right, next gun, Dragon's Breath. Now the Dragon's Breath, I haven't played around with too much because Storm Shield 1's stats are incorrect on it. It says it does like 40 damage per hit, which is incorrect. It does like 100 something damage per hit. It's insane. It does as much damage as the Bald Eagle, but there's a couple things. It does as much damage as the Bald Eagle, but it doesn't get the extra crit chance and crit rating. Like the Bald Eagle gets 15% crit chance, 75% crit damage base without any perks. Dragon's Breath does not get that. Now, the cool thing with the Dragon's Breath, a little fun fact here, is that it was one of those guns that were super easy to get the same perk on. Like, for example, I got a Dragon, which is the epic version, with all damage perks. Every single one of them was damage perks. I did end up recycling it. I don't know why I did that. I ended up recycling it because I got a Legendary one, and the epic version didn't have as much DPS. I think that was what I was doing. Which I guess makes sense, right? But it's kind of cool that it has all damage on it. But, Dragon's Breath, I've seen some with all reload speed. I've seen some with all crit chance. It's insane. These people have some insane Dragon's Breaths. Now, again, this is like all together. I can't base it off perks like that. So that, I mean, honestly, if I based off like perks like that, it'd be like number like 2 on the list. But it's a great pistol. But the one thing that sucks about it is that its range is garbage. You have to get up real close with it. That's why I prefer the Bald Eagle over the Dragon's Breath. But the cool thing with the Dragon's Breath, if you get used to it, you can shoot multiple enemies with one shot. Now, it is kind of hard to do it, but if you get used to it, then you can do it. Like a gun like the Maverick, for example. It has about the same cone size, if that makes sense, as the Dragon's Breath, but the Maverick has overpiercing, so it can shoot a ton of enemies at once. Now, the Dragon's Breath does not get overpiercing, so like what you have to do when you shoot it is you have to line them up next to each other instead of like one in front, one behind. Even just a little bit showing out, it still won't hit it. So if you get used to the gun, it can be a very good gun, but I really prefer the Bald Eagle over the Dragon's Breath. The only thing the Dragon's Breath doesn't have that the Bald Eagle, the only thing the Dragon's Breath has over the Bald Eagle is that it can hit multiple enemies at once. Okay, so yeah. Next gun. Oh, here, well, I'm going to say something. So the Dragon's Breath is, in my opinion, one of the coolest looking pistols in the game. It has like dragon horns on it. It's like a dragon's face. It's a really cool gun to have. Honestly, if you have the schematic, keep it just because it's top 10, right? Top 10 pistol. And it's a very cool looking schematic. Alright, next on the list is the Judge. Now here we get into the hand cannons. Now, the hand cannons are probably some of the best pistols in the game. Just because they do a crap ton of damage. Well, that's basically it. They do a crap ton of damage, okay? That's why they're the best in the game. Now, I love auto pistols, and I love hand cannons. Alright, so hand cannons do like a ton of damage, don't have much fire rate, but then auto pistols have a crap ton of fire rate, but not much damage. They're kind of opposite of each other. But they kind of do, I don't know, DPS-wise, usually hand cannons have lower than auto pistols. Even though that's not quite true. And I'll get into that, because DPS is really weird when it comes to hand cannons and stuff like that. When I get to the Bald Eagle, I'll explain. But the Judge is, it's a great gun. I do like it. I think that it's definitely a good gun to kill Huskies with. I think that's probably one of the best uses for it, because it's one of the best guns in the game to kill Huskies with, and the next one on this list, because they're almost exactly the same. But if you have like these faster firing hand cannons, kind of like the Piston Spitter, that could work too, but it doesn't do as much damage as the Judge. The Judge and the next one on this list both do a good damage to Huskies. They'll probably one-shot Huskies if you headshot them. But if you're trying to kill blasters, you gotta like crit in order to kill them, and that kind of sucks. Or like smashers, you gotta shoot a ton of bullets to kill them. It's a great gun. If you have headshot explosions on it, it could be used to kill normal husks, honestly. Headshot explosions on a Judge is very, very, very good. If you get it, do not get rid of it, because that's a very good thing to have on a Judge. I have Affliction on mine, which sucks, but I mean, Affliction is still kind of nice. Anyways, the next one is the Falcon. Yes, Falcon. Now, a lot of people say like, "Oh, the Falcon sucks," and they're wrong. People who say that Falcon sucks have not used the Falcon. Okay. Now, so Falcon and Judge are very, very, very similar. The Falcon, they have like the same reload speed, same clip, but the Falcon gets more fire rate, 0.5 more fire rate. Falcon gets 2.5, the Judge gets 2, but the Falcon gets less damage than the Judge, like 20 or so. It's like 114 to like 90 or something like that. But overall, the Falcon gets more DPS. And DPS does matter on these two guns, but when comparing the two, the Falcon is basically a Judge, but with more fire rate and less damage. So I basically already explained it. Use it on Husky husks, maybe normal husks if you have headshot explosions, or if you're in a low level, or if you're in a high level mission. These are great guns if you're in a high level mission with a low level. Then you use the Judge and the Falcon. You can one shot the normal husks. It's a really good strategy. So the next one is the, oh, didn't get the full thing, the vacuum tube revolver. Now, the vacuum tube revolver is a hand cannon, very similar to the Falcon and Judge. Like, it has like a 2 or 2.5 fire rate, one of those two. The reason why it's higher up than these two is that it stuns. Now, it's the most, I mean, pistol-wise, it's the best stunning weapon in the game. It is very good for stunning. I love it to death because if you, let's say you're a low level, let's say you're a low level in a high level mission, and you need to, and you can't do any damage. We can pull out this vacuum tube revolver and just stun a ton of things. That helps the higher level people. It's a very utility gun. If you're a very, it's kind of like, it's a better version of the piston spitter. It's almost exactly the same except that it stuns instead of staggers, which stunning is a lot better than staggering anyway. So yeah, but when you stun them, they like stop. You know, like you could stun a smasher and he'll be like be stunned for a couple seconds, and then you could just have the soldier rip them apart with their AR and debilitating shots and stuff like that. But anyways, the vacuum tube revolver is a very, very, very good gun. You probably want fire rate on it, just like the piston spitter, to get as much stun. What's it called? Stun something. So in order to make a zombie stun, is you have to apply a certain amount of stun in order to make them stunned, if that makes sense. So the vacuum revolver, if you shoot multiple shots, then you apply enough stun on the enemy to make them get stunned, if that makes sense. It's really confusing. It's kind of like impact, where you apply as much impact as you stagger them. But yeah. So basically, vacuum revolver, it stuns, and it does less damage to the Falcon and Judge, but it doesn't matter because it stuns. Alright, next weapon, the next pistol is the Vintertech Blazer. Vintertech Blazer is another Vintertech pistol, I know, right? Like the other two on the bottom of the list. Vintertech Blazer is an auto Vintertech weapon. Now, the bad part about the Vintertech Blazer is that it's what do you call it? Recoil. Its recoil sucks. You know, it goes all over the place. It's kind of like the Viper in that way. And the really cool part about the Vintertech guns is you can see all the bullets, and like they're like light blue, and they're cool looking things. And that's the Vintertech Blazer is like probably the second coolest noise when it shoots. I love the noise, but it's an auto pistol, and the reason why it's not up higher is because it doesn't do as much damage and fire rate as the other pistols. But it does get a 50 mag size, which is great. But there's another pistol on here that gets 50 mag size, or it gets 40 mag size, but does a lot more damage. Yeah, so it just gets outdone by all the other auto pistols, but it is better than the Thrasher and Quickshot and Riptide because it has more ammo. It does about the same amount of DPS, but it gets more ammo. So next pistol is the Whisper 45. Now a lot of people love this gun. That's why it's number 5 on the list. It's a very good gun. Oh, like I said, if you're trying to go semi-auto pistol, the Whisper is better than the Jackal. I don't know why I said Jackal, but the Jackal still is a good pistol, okay? If you're trying to go semi-automatic and you don't have a Whisper, because it was an event item. It was the military event. And if you're new to the game, you probably don't have one. Like we started a couple days ago, or a couple days ago from this upload date or whatever. If you joined after Blockbuster, then you won't have the Whisper. If you don't have the Whisper, then I would go Jackal if you're into semi-automatic pistols, which not a lot of people are. Or you could go to, there's one more gun higher up on the list that I'm going to say. That's better, but only if you run a certain hero and you're in a certain level mission and stuff like that. I'll talk about it once I get up to it. But the Whisper is a very good semi-automatic pistol. It does a ton of damage, gets a great fire rate, and the mag is really small, but it kind of makes up for it with the damage. Now the next pistol on the list is the Viper. Now the Viper is the second best auto pistol in the game. It does a ton of damage, gets 24 base damage, or it's 24 base damage with a 15 fire rate. One of the fastest guns in the game. It shoots very, very, very fast. And but it's kind of inaccurate, but you just gotta get up close when you shoot with it. I use my auto pistols only on smashers because I have better guns to use in different stuff. But if it's an elemental smasher, the Viper I have is fire, so I'll use it on a nature smasher. You know, like I have. Eventually, I'm gonna change the Thunder's quick shot to water. I'll use that on fire smashers, and then I'll have my next gun on the list for water smashers. But the Viper, you can probably go any element. But I would probably not go energy on the Viper, even though energy was buffed. Okay, well it kind of depends. If you have a ton of machine pistols, then don't go energy on the Viper. But if you don't have many machine pistols, if you're new to pistols or have many machine pistols, then go energy on your first couple pistols. I will talk about elements probably in a later video. That's a good idea. The next gun on the list is the lightning pistol. Woo! So the lightning pistol it just kind of trumps all. You know, it trumps every gun below this list because of a couple of things. One, it gets the highest DPS in the game that's real. That's real. Besides, as a kind of might be what's the gun? There might be a couple of them, like crap. I forgot. I think like there's an AR that might be higher, or no, it's the ground pounder. That's the shotgun. Ground pounder gets the higher DPS than lightning pistol, which sucks. I know. But in the broken dragoon, that's inflated though. I'm pretty sure that's not exactly what the DPS is. Oh, because it only shoots one bullet, so the fire rate doesn't matter. But yeah, lightning pistol, highest DPS pistol, and one of the highest guns, DPS guns in the game. It was from the vacuum tube event. What sucks about it is that it's stuck at nature. I would love for it to be energy for one reason, is that it stuns. Yeah, it stuns. Not only does it do crap ton of DPS, but it stuns. I know. I do have it nature, so I use that on my water smashers. It's a great gun. It's a very good gun. Like I said, the Vintertech Blazer was the second coolest sounding one. This is my first favorite sounding gun because it kind of sounds like I don't even know. It's like, you know when you throw like a snowball and it hits something and it has like a little small little snow crash, but it's like a little light and it's like a nice little pleasant sound, like in the snow when you throw in the snow. It's like that combined with like when you like put nails in a jar and you have that little like nice little jar sound and you combine the two sounds. That's what it sounds like. It's a really cool sound. I'll do a video. I'm gonna do a video. Assume my third video is lightning pistol. So my third video is gonna be on a lightning pistol, and I'll do a gameplay with those videos. So I'll do it on that one. But it's one of my favorite guns in the game. It was actually one of the few first pistols I got because I started in the Christmas event, and I got a lightning pistol, and I was so excited because it was such a good gun. All right, next gun is the Bald Eagle. You guys have been waiting for this one. The Bald Eagle, arguably the best gun in the game. Arguably the best gun in the game. If you're not running Ranger Deadeye, it's probably the best gun, or I would say best gun. But if you're not running Ranger Deadeye, there's probably a couple other guns that could be better. Like if you're running Raider, Ground Pounder is so good. Oh my gosh. But anyways, the Bald Eagle is probably the best pistol in the game, arguably. But it's number 2 for me because of one reason. I'll talk about when I get to the number 1. But the Bald Eagle, basically, if you crit with it, you're gonna one-shot every blaster. You know, like even if you're like 20 levels under-leveled, if you crit with it, you'll one-shot the blaster. If you don't crit with it, and you have damage and headshot damage with it, then you have a chance to kill the smasher. If you're Ranger Deadeye, you'll probably still kill it. If you're not, depends what your perks are. But it's known for one-shotting a lot of things. It'll one-shot a Husky Husk. You know, as long as it depends on the element, obviously. I run physical with mine. You know, I'm talking about perks, I know. I run physical with mine because I use it on blasters only, but usually there's a lot of blasters, and it's kind of like whenever I join a game, it's like my obligation to kill the blasters because I have the OP Bald Eagle. But yeah, I use it on normal smashers, not almost smashers. I use normal smashers, like 2 shots them, every time. Like even if I don't crit it, 2-shots him, it's great. Sometimes I 1-shot him with a little bit lower level mission. But the Bald Eagle, it's such a good gun. Lots of people love it. It's arguably the best gun in the game. But this one, honestly, there's probably a lot of people that think this gun is the best gun in the game. Just for one reason, is that it has an OP perk on it. Now, maybe there's some people out there that don't know what the perk is, so I'll explain it. It's called Bullet Chain. Once you reach level 25, where like normal guns get like their Affliction, their Snare, their Headshot Explosions, or whatever, this gun doesn't get that. This gun gets, what was the perk called again? Crap. Headshot, something. Headshot, Ricochet, something like that. But Bullet Chain, that's what it's called. Anyways, so when you shoot a bullet, it chains to a nearby enemy in the head. In the head. Don't forget that. In the head, it shoots them. So even if you shoot one enemy at their feet, the bullet will chain to the other zombie's head. It's a very good gun. You don't need a headshot with it. That's what I love about it. So basically, I can be like lazy and just start spamming it, you know? But a fun fact about Fortnite as well, not a lot of people might know, is that it's a reskin of the Haywire, which is the epic version of this gun. Now, you might be like, why is it on the top of the list? It's the epic version of this gun. Why is it on the top? It's because of the bullet chain. The bullet chain makes it better than every gun in the entire game. It's one of the best guns in the entire game. And a lot of people probably agree with me. The really cool part about it, if you're a trap guy, there's a couple guns that are really, really good. Like one is probably like the Bald Eagle to like one-shot or just wreck your smashers that like go through your trap tunnels. Another one would probably be like the Lightning Pistol or that into Revolver because they stun. And stunning a trap tunnel is very, very good. One could be the Space Invader if there's no propanes in there. Because if there's no propanes in there, it's gonna hit like all the enemies. It's gonna be so insane. Pistol wise, those are probably the best ones for trappers. All the trappers out there. But one that's probably one of the best ones is the Foundress Revolt. Because like I said, it chains to a nearby enemy's head. So if you shoot an enemy next to a propane zombie, it'll target to the propane's head and it won't hit the propane tank. So what you could do is you could kill every propane zombie without actually shooting any propane zombies. I know, right? It's insane. Like the Foundress Revolt it's the god gun. I use it all the time. It's the first one I'm gonna do a video on, so I'll talk more about it in the video. I'll talk about different perks you could run. I know a good bit about it. Just quickly, I'll say you should run energy on it because you only have one. So I'll just say that real quick. But yeah. Again, I'll get into it once I do my video on it, which will be soon. Probably yeah. Okay. So just a quick tip since I'm done. This is the list. You know. I worked really hard on this, so don't think, oh, this guy's stupid. This guy's always talking about. This is a very accurate list. But yeah, if you watched the whole video, I am so proud of you, and I wish I could hug you right now because this video has been very long. I can't believe this took. What, I recorded for 48 minutes. What? So, if you're still watching, good for you. If you're still watching, type I like cookies in the comments, okay? Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna put at the end of the video, which probably won't matter, that I'm going on vacation. Yes, vacation. For a full week starting Sunday. So yeah, I won't be able to upload for a week. But I will upload a bunch of videos when I get back. Yes, I will. I'll upload a bunch of videos when I get back. Or actually, I'll probably upload this one after I get home from vacation, so it won't even matter. This won't even be in the clip. Alright, well, that concludes my pistol tier list. That is it. If you have any questions, totally feel free to put them in the comments. I will answer every single question. If you disagree with something, put it in the comments. If you think it was great, like the video. If you enjoy, if you want to watch more videos like this, I'm gonna do tier lists on heroes. I already have one. I already have the hero done. I'm not doing it on shotguns, ARs, snipers, whatever you want to see. I can do that. I'm gonna do a bunch of farming videos. I have plans for that. Farming like mechanical parts, nuts and bolts, herbs. I have strategies for all of them. If you want to see those, make sure to subscribe. Anyways, thanks for watching. Goodbye.